Hello, hello. That's right, just a moment. Focus, focus. There we go. In focus. Hello, everybody. How is everyone? Jack deleted his account. Just a second here. That's better. Sorry, I'm going to read these comments. I'm just going to be a second. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Aunt. Hello, Lynn and Michelle and Lindsay and Lee and Chris. Vixen. Margie, good to see you. Leslie, hello. Janet. Chris. Who am I missing? So yeah, I came in a little late. Did somebody say jack that back? That David deleted his account? Is this right? Or is he just taking a break? He didn't actually delete his content, I wouldn't think. I hope not. Hello, Ellie, Mary. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm sure he's got like his content offline still. I would doubt he's deleted all his videos. Yeah, hippie. It's going to be. I mean, the song had to show up 1 week. No guarantee it's going to win. You never know. Yeah, I've missed you all as well. It seems like it's been forever, a couple weeks. That's a shame. Well, I hope David's all right. He's obviously not feeling something quite right if he's decided to delete all his content. That's terrible. Actually, I'm going to change my glasses here to ones that I can read with. Ulrich, I am doing very well, thank you. I had a great week of camping. I did it. I've been as lazy as I possibly can, and it feels good. That's true, Margie. I suspect there will be some votes against certain songs just because of their popularity. And
Hello.
hello, are you just? He didn't delete his other channels. That's interesting.
By the way, Dad, I'm gonna play outside,
Oh,
okay?
okay, buddy.
Okay. I love you.
Love you, buddy. Has anybody talked to David? Like, is his channel perhaps did it get suspended? Like, do we know that he deleted this and he's done this by choice? I love it, Lee. Yeah, I'm not quite there yet. I can't retire quite yet, unless I win my lottery tonight. Then I'll be officially retired by tomorrow. Right. So David's just having some struggles. That's sad to hear. Just gotta find my pen. Yeah, I mean, anytime you're dealing with copyright content, there's those risks. That's why I decided not to monetize my channel in any way. As soon as you monetize, what you put on your channel becomes much more heavily scrutinized. Because whenever I upload a video, I get what's called a copyright claim. And basically what that is, it says, the owner of the song allows me to use the song, but they will advertise on it and they will gain the money from it. So I think that's kept me from getting any kind of copyright strikes, or maybe just some bands are a little harsher about it than others. I don't know whose decision that is, but absolutely, Louise. Oh yeah, that the Queen party will be the first event I plan if I win that kind of money. We'll just have to pick where in the world we all want to meet. Exactly, Ant. It is all free publicity. Vegas would be a great place for everybody to meet. Have been there a couple of times. I'm not a huge gambler, but I do love the environment in Vegas. Just always awake, always something going on. I'll never grow up in that regard, I don't think. Well, hello, Maya. Can you maybe not burst through the door? Okay, everybody's made their entrance now. Tyler, Maya. Oh, Montreux would actually be also a very good place to go. No, haven't started yet, Nick. You got your beers in? Good. I know who you're voting for today. Yes, Janet. I think anytime something is, but you can't. I don't think you can call it free use if you've monetized your channel, and I think that's where the sticky comes in. Which is why eventually, maybe perhaps I'll do the Patreon thing. We'll see. Borat cannot win now, Nick. Borat's a very good song. Just because it's been played a lot doesn't lessen the quality of the song. Okay, we're up to 22. I think we've got the numbers to get started here. Everybody ready? Everybody get a chance to do their homework? Okay, I see a few readies. Born Teddy as well. Nice one, Claudia. And hello, Sylvia. That's interesting, Margie. Without Bo Rap, what does Queen become? I think they still would have been an immensely popular band, but Bohemian Rhapsody certainly vaulted them forward. Hello, Hot Space. Welcome. Nice to see you here. Okay. It appears we're all in. We're ready to go. So get your keyboards ready, and we're gonna start off with a bang. We're gonna be hitting number 1 for Life is Real, or number 2 for Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody is number 2. Life is Real, number 1. Oh, this one's a close one. Thing is, with a song like Bohemian Rhapsody, I mean, what do you put it up against, right? You don't want to put it up against another kind of masterpiece song because you don't want to lose two on the same side of a single challenge. Well, it's looking like Bull Rap is taking this one, I think. The song really is. I mean, the originality of that song and the fact that nothing's really been made like it before and like it after. I mean, it really does get all the accolades it deserves. And Life is Real is a great song, by the way. But yeah, it's a little rough to go up against something like Bull Rap, but somebody had to. Oh yeah, I'm under no, like, I think Bohemian Rhapsody obviously I think will be in the final 16, but I'm not convinced it's going to win. March of the Black Queen will give it a run. Innuendo will give it a run. I'm sure there are others that'll give it a run. Yes, Kai. Life is Real is a good song. Bull Rap is a little bit more. Okay, so there we go with our first. Let's move on quickly to our second one. For this one, we're going to be hitting hit 1 for A Winter's Tale or 2 for Fun It. So Fun It is 2, A Winter's Tale is 1. This one seems to be an easy choice. I'll just write down A Winter's Tale. I guess, and Claudia, I've noticed that. And it's a pretty steady stream in one direction here. So was that Lindsay and Claudia the only Fun It? Which is, again, Fun It's not one of those songs I listen to a lot, but I always enjoy it when I hear it. I don't think it's a bad song. It's just one of those, when your catalog has 200 songs in it, you can't get around listening to the entire catalog all the time. Some songs just kind of get left behind. Fun It is one of those. But I was listening to it again last night, and yeah, it's a pretty good song. Which statue, Lee? Are you talking about the Freddy statue? Yes, A Winter's Tale is truly a beautiful song. Winter's Tale is a funeral song. That's interesting. Oh, you had planned to go to Montreux? I don't know what my funeral song is. Maybe I'll have them play Cool Cat. Dead on Time, yeah, that would be a good one too. Ulrich, don't worry, man. I'm winning a lottery. We're all going to Montreux. It's easy to make promises when you haven't won a lottery yet, right? Okay, so we've got Bull Rap, we've got A Winter's Tale. We're going on to our third pairing now. Oh, Montreal now. I like that, Wendy. Micromanaging. I guess that would be the ultimate micromanage, right? When you still want to have control over things after you've died. Okay, moving on to group number 3. For this one, we're going to be pressing 1 for Modern Times Rock and Roll, or 2 for Let Me Entertain You. Let Me Entertain You is number 2. Modern Times Rock and Roll, number 1. Oh, I see Claudia's with the pack on this one. I thought this one might be a little bit closer, but it looks like the spankings continue. It's looking like Let Me Entertain You. Did anybody see that new Cruella de Vil movie? I never did watch it. Speaking of Cruella de Vil. I like the character anyways. Haven't seen the movie. Yeah, it's kind of the way I feel about it, Claudia. I don't really want to see it, but I was a big 101 Dalmatians fan as a child, and of course I know the character so well. Stone Cold Crazy is in Cruella de Vil. A lot of Queen music's showing up in movies now. I remember, I think it was, well, I know it was Freddie. In an interview, they were asking him about those old, I think they were called K-Tel records. They were like compilation records. And I remember Freddie making a comment how he just would hate to see Queen music show up on one of these K-Tel albums. Makes me wonder how he would have felt about all the Queen music being used in commercials and movies. I'm sure he probably wouldn't care. I mean, they did movie soundtracks, so obviously they don't care too much about that. But of course, that's when they're making the soundtrack. It's not somebody taking their song and using it. But I think he was pretty sensitive about those kind of things. Yeah, Lee, it's probably true. Although I don't think they would have done a K-Tel album, because K-Tel albums at the time were kind of seen as, where one-hit wonders had their music show up in these compilation records, because there wasn't the power behind their art to drive entire albums by themselves. So I think that's probably why Freddie didn't want to do the K-Tel thing. It was kind of seen as kind of the Walmart of the record industry. Okay, moving on to our fourth grouping. For this one, we're going to be hitting 1 for Flash, or 2 for Don't Try Suicide. So Don't Try Suicide, hit number 2. If you prefer Flash, hit number 1. This one's a little bit closer. It's a closer one, but it is looking like Flash won. Did it? Oh no, I think it's well, let's double count again. Oh boy, this is a close one. I'm counting a win for Flash. Does anybody want to double check for me? This would be a very tough one for me to pick between these two. They're both kind of quirky, slightly off-center songs. Okay, so I think we got the same. It looks like Flash is squeaking through on this one. The Flash Gordon movie has become such a cult classic. I wonder what that film, if anybody would have gone to see it without Queen doing a soundtrack. Very campy. And it's usually campy movies like that that become kind of culty classic. Okay, so Flash takes it. So the winners of the first side, Bo Rap, A Winter's Tale, Let Me Entertain You, and Flash. It's a reasonable group. You think it's too campy? Is there such thing as too campy? I think once you fall into camp, you can pretty much go as far as you want. The woke brigade have ruined all kinds of things, Chris. Especially comedy and art and music. I've always wanted to do a little bit of a rant or a video on that, but I don't know. I think it'll end up being all too angry, so I better not. How is Flash racist? Maybe it's been too long since I've watched it, but oh yeah. Well, I mean, even if he was Chinese, so what? Or they hated the idea that they had a Caucasian playing a. I mean, when you look at the name Ming the Merciless, Ming is very Chinese. Maybe he's supposed to be a Chinese character. I don't know. I never thought about it, especially when I was younger. I mean, racism obviously existed, but it was just talked to on at a different level than it is now. Like now, I don't even think people know what racism is anymore, or bigotry for that matter, or the differences between them. I just political correctness is mad. Yeah, I think people are just looking for ways to kind of show off how great and moral they are. And usually, when people start doing that, it just comes across as looking very selfish. And I don't think selfishness is a very moral behavior. But I mean, if I don't like something, then nobody should be able to enjoy it, right? Oh, hippie for sure. Racism absolutely still exists. There's a lot of race issues still, but it's just not everything's a race issue. I've known. Well, I mean, I have Facebook friends. When I first joined Facebook, I played a game called Mafia Wars, and so you need friends for that. So I would just join these groups to gain friends. So I've got like 1,000 friends on my Facebook page, but maybe 10 of them are my actual real life friends. But yeah, the attitude that some people have is yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, we're definitely culturally we're really being fractured right now, and political correctness has a lot to do with that. I believe there is a certain amount of, I mean, I even hate using the word political correctness because it's been just so badly damaged over time. I think when it comes down to like things like hate speech and hate crimes, that's the kind of political correctness I can get behind. I don't think anybody needs to hear or deserves to be heard um, vitriol and anger placed towards them just for how they look or whatever. So in that regard, I agree with political correctness. Um, but when it's gone as far as it has now, I don't know, it's not even political correctness anymore. It's authoritarianism. It's society having a way to tell you what you're allowed to think and what you're allowed to do. And yeah, I'm not for that. I'm quite the opposite of that. I think people should be able to think and do whatever the hell they want as long as it's not causing damage or harm to anybody else. And we have to stop judging people just because they crack a joke, or you look at the outrage bringing it back to Queen. You look at March of the Black Queen and a line about the nigger sugar. I mean, people are freaking out about this, and it's just like it's a word within a song used properly in its context. I don't see why there's outrage about this. I don't understand it. People just like to be outraged, I guess. Like I say, I think it makes them feel like they're on a moral high ground over other people if they can kind of shout down at you for these kind of things. Well, conservatives, it's funny because conservatives, especially American conservatives, they're always the ones who are talking about free speech and limited government and all these things, yet they're the ones who seem to, taking this political correctness mantle and really running with it now. Well, I can't say conservatives, it's the whole world's messed up. I was disappointed that there was pushback against like Pepe Le Pew. He was one of my favorite cartoon characters as a kid. And then I've been told recently that apparently, I guess, because he's supposed to be, he's supposed to be French, I guess, and he uses that, kind of charming accent that he does, and this is what's seen as racist. I don't know. Cultures change, for sure. Not always for the better, not always forward. Oh yeah, I mean, white man. Well, I think it probably would not have gone over well even back then. It's funny how sensitive we can be to certain lyrics and how we take them. I mean, obviously, people hear white man and they take it personally. Because even in the white man comment section on the Queen video, I remember getting into a discussion with what white man was about. And this one guy was talking about how it's all about Americans. And I'm trying to explain to him, that when we conquered North America, America wasn't America yet. It wasn't America for a couple hundred years. All these atrocities took place from, the Spanish and the English. It wasn't the Americans. Although, of course, on the North American continent, we haven't treated natives well since day one. And it really depends where you're from, my friend. Conservative in America and liberal in America is a little bit different from other places in the world. Conservative in America, I guess, would be more. I think the conservative movement in the States is based a little more around Christianity, more so than say in Britain. I know the politics. Politics and the use of words are very different wherever you go in the world. Even here in Canada, we're right next to America, and our right wing party is probably still as far left as the Democrat Party in the States. The Democrats, or sorry, the US does not have a left party. I know a lot of people like to say that the Democrats are these socialists and left wing extremists. It's like, are you kidding me? They're not even close to left wing. The Democrats in the States are center right, and then the Conservative Party is further out right. Americans have no idea what a left wing party looks like. They don't. Yes, Kai, conservatives in the US are right. But the US has no left party. They don't. And when people tell you that the Democrats are just socialists and communists, they're just speaking out of emotion. They don't it's just not true. Well, yeah, exactly, Ant, and it really depends who's offering you the definition. That's the way I see. I always see the left wing as more progressive. Would you consider yourself conservatively? Are you in the US? Yeah, well, the American system is a two-party system, right? So it's a system that's actually set up to divide people. And Lee, there's nothing wrong with being conservative, just as there's nothing wrong with being liberal. What I would say to anybody is try to stay away from the extremes, because I think that's what's kind of creating the issues and the breakdown of the social fabric is people don't know. They're tossing around definitions that they don't fully understand, or that other people might interpret quite differently. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with being conservative. In fact, I would consider myself conservative leaning, But once you get out to the edges of the party extremes, I don't care if you're right wing or left wing, you're crazy. You can't go that far out on the edge. There's a social pendulum that happens. And when one side of the political party pushes it too far the other way, the only thing that happens, and the only thing that has ever happened, is it swings back the other way and it becomes more extreme. And then back and forth it goes every 4 years or whatever until we're at now, where everybody's up here and nobody's kind of meeting in the middle. And it's quite something to watch. Politics, like religion, they're the two most dangerous subjects to talk about. I've seen way too many fights break out over these topics, and yes, Nick, good idea. Let's move on to our music now. Okay, second half of our challenge here. We're starting off at the top, and we're going to be voting number 1 for Nevermore, or 2 for Is This the World We Created? I love politics. I could talk about politics all day, but I know for some it's an absolute bore. So we'll go back to music now. So Nevermore was 1. Is This the World We Created is 2. I'm a little surprised by this one. Or am I? Yeah, good one, Janet. So you can't get away from politics. It follows you everywhere. I wish more people would react to the performance, Chris. A lot of people, I guess, don't even realize that Queen had come. Well, Queen didn't come back on the stage. Brian and Freddie did, but that was a great performance. It's just, since the first time I heard it, and every time I've heard it since, the audio, because they really messed up the audio in that, right? And it's just, drives me nuts. I think somebody edited out all the noise out of the video. There is a version out there that doesn't have all the feedback in that. But okay, so did we have a winner there? I think so, yeah. Yeah, it's looking like Is This the World We Created is the winner. It was amazing at Live Aid. Well, the whole Live Aid performance was amazing. History has sure treated Queen's reputation well at Live Aid, because they were the best band on the day for sure, and I think they were a step ahead of literally everybody else. But there was actually some other really good performances at Live Aid that probably deserve to get a little attention. Not by me, because I'm a Queen channel, so I'm going to focus on Queen, but I'm surprised that there aren't more people reacting to other performances at Live Aid, just because it was such a famous concert. I find that with live performances in general, Hot Space, I don't get bored. I could listen to the same live performances repeatedly. Yeah, you two are all right. Was it Bowie that came up right after Queen? I think Bowie was right. I seem to remember. I saw David Bowie in Winnipeg in 1980, early 1980s, the Sirius Moonlight Tour, and it was an absolutely brutal concert, which is a shame, because I'm a big David Bowie fan, and he wasn't very good. Adamant, I liked Adamant actually. Kings of the Wild Frontier album. I actually listened to that quite a bit when I was younger. Yeah, removing the volume limiter was a little stroke of genius. Who do you envy, Liliana? Me for going to see a David Bowie concert? I didn't even pay. It was at a outdoor stadium in Winnipeg, and there was this gap in the wiring fence, and when nobody was the wiser, the benefits of being trim and small, I just slipped right on in and stood on the side and watched the entire concert. Oh, that's right. Phil Collins was the one who flew right from London to Philly. U2 is a great concert. I would love to have seen David Bowie maybe in the mid 70s. Okay, so back to our music again. On to the next pairing. For this one, we're going to be hitting 1 for A Kind of Magic, or 2 for I Can't Live With You, or sorry, I Can't Live Without You. So I Can't Live Without You is 2, A Kind of Magic hit 1. Looks like another easy one. Yes, Hot Space. I agree. This should be a harder choice. I think they're both great songs. Well, a little bit of a pushback at the end there, but I think it's looking like A Kind of Magic. What are you missing, Kai? What do you think, Highlander? Highlander was a good. Highlander would have done well all on its own. The fact that it had a Queen soundtrack just makes it that much better. Oh no, there was a bit of a comeback there. The gap wasn't so big. Did I show off my Highlander production notes? I think I did on one of these live streams. I was a huge Highlander fan, and I was working in the video stores at the time, and I had a chance to meet one of the studio executives. And we were talking about how much I enjoyed Queen and the Highlander movie, and he actually sent me some production notes for Highlander 2, The Quickening, which isn't a classic film like the first one is. I did? Yeah, okay, I thought so, yeah. Okay, on to the next pairing. Where are we right now? We're 45 minutes in. Yeah, okay. On to the next pairing. Get your keyboards ready. We're going to be hitting number 1 for Now I'm Here, or 2 for Sheer Heart Attack. Now I'm Here is number 1. Sheer Heart Attack, number 2. Hot Space, you haven't seen Highlander? That's not possible. Boy, they're easy choices today for everybody. Hopefully the semifinal rounds get a little more difficult. I think I would choose sheer heart attack in this one myself, but I'm not trying to influence anybody. So I'm thinking Now I'm Here has taken this one. All right, so that's the first evening that we're all together for our Queen party. We're gonna have a viewing of Highlander. Too many of you haven't seen it. It's a little bit dated. The effects are not to the standard we're used to seeing today, but the idea of the movie and yeah, it was a great, good fun, that movie. Yes, a mass screening. Got a lot of plans. That song "Who Wants to Live Forever," I think it was "Who Wants to Live Forever." There's two versions of the video. There's the Queen version and there's the movie version. It's far more powerful watching the movie version because you kind of get a better idea what the song's about. But it hits you right in the feelers for sure. Per wow dribble. Sorry, that just put an image in my head. Thanks for that, Paula. Okay, let's get our last pairing for the quarterfinals here, or the preliminaries. Okay, so for this one, we're going to be hitting 1 for Rain Must Fall or 2 for Teo Toriate. Teo Toriate is 2, Rain Must Fall 1. They're remaking Highlander, or they're just doing another Highlander movie? Because if they do a remake, yeah, I hope they use some Queen music. I'm sure they will. It's a landslide, but it's not an easy choice. Wow, almost all of today's duos were runaways. I always found Teo Toriate one of those very kind of uplifting songs. I've heard a rumor of them doing another Bo Rap movie, which I'm guessing would probably focus on the band after Live Aid. I still want them to do that Sacha Baron Cohen version of a more restricted or NC-17 version of Freddie. Yeah, I have this feeling Because I remember that interview with Sacha Baron Cohen when his project fell through, or the one he is involved with, and he was talking about how, the main character died halfway through the movie, speaking about Freddy. It made it sound like the movie that they wanted to make was going to, Freddy was only going to be in half the movie, and then after that, it was going to be hey, this is what the band's doing now, and kind of promoting Queen as a modern entity. And I'm glad they didn't do that. I don't think I would have appreciated that much. So when it comes to any sequels that might come from Bohemian Rhapsody, I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't move the storyline along and we have to hear, nothing against Adam Lambert or anything, but I don't want to hear, those kind of characters don't need to be in a Queen movie. I hope if they do a part 2, I hope it's dealing with, Freddie's HIV and those last few years of his life before he passes on. I don't want him to do anything past 1991. It wouldn't be a Queen movie then. Or if they're going to do that, then they better make a Freddie Mercury movie and focus on the character of Freddie. Yes, Sasha he's a brilliant actor. He's one of the more underrated actors out there in my opinion. And I would love to have seen him do Freddie Mercury. He did a cameo. He was the truck driver who lured Freddie into the bathroom, which I thought that's a great cameo actually. Well, I know Peter Freestone didn't really. He's got a YouTube channel. Yes, yeah, Wendy, I did like Rami. I thought he did. You know, Freddie Mercury would not be an easy character to play, I don't think. And I think for the most part, he hit on some of the mannerisms of Freddie a little bit. I found him to be a little bit cardboardy, a little bit stiff in his movements and such. But Freddie was so fluid in how he moved and how he spoke and his mannerisms and things like that are very difficult to replicate. So yeah, I thought Rami did a fine job. The movie itself I think was entertaining. I don't think it was particularly great. But I think that was maybe because I was a little more offset by some of the timeline changes and that I thought were unnecessary. And yes, I thought his prosthetic teeth were too much. You could see it coming through the outer of the mouth. And Rami's also got those. I don't know what it's called, but they're almost kind of like a bulging eye a little bit. Does that make sense? So there's some things about Rami that I had a hard time looking past to kind of get into the Freddy character, but I thought overall he did pretty good. Yeah, the blue eyes actually kind of pissed me off. Actually, I had forgotten all about that. Thanks for the reminder. But yeah, they could have changed the eye color too. I thought all the characters were done really well. Brian, at first glance, Brian was the one that really got me. He was done exceptionally well. Yeah, it could be a whole mini series, and But yeah, if they do a sequel, I suspect, and like I say, I hope the focus is going to be on those last few years of Freddie's life, and the challenges that the band were had, the challenges that the band had due to this, and so forth. And I could see them even going, maybe spending the last 15 minutes of the movie maybe drawing out the Queen timeline to include what they've done post Freddy, but it better not be a big part of the movie, or else, yeah, I would say I'd walk out. What good does that do? I've already paid, so. Okay, going on. We're on to our quarterfinals now. For this one, we're going to be going, back to the top. So we're going to be clicking number 1 for a little song called Bohemian Rhapsody, or number 2 for A Winter's Tale. A Winter's Tale is 2. Yes, Chris, it should get harder now. Bo Rap is 1. Hey now. There we go. You can be a rebel, Nick, if it, yeah. Do you really like A Winter's Tale more than Bo Rap, though, or are you just being a rebel? And A Winter's Tale is a beautiful song. I mean, not that I wouldn't, not that I would not believe any of you wouldn't take Bo Rap. But yeah, Bo Rap's moving on. Okay, everybody's got their vote in there. Anybody else? I don't think anybody's vote is going to change the result at this point. A rebel or 2 or 5. Okay, going on to our second quarterfinal. This one we're going to be hitting 1 for Let Me Entertain You, or 2 for Flash. So Flash is 2, Let Me Entertain You is 1. I was conflicted whether I was going to add Flash to this kind of competition, because I wasn't going to include the Flash Gordon album. So I think I might have to maybe throw in the Hero as well in the future, take one more song off that album. Okay, so where are we? Okay, so it's looking like Let Me Entertain You. Anybody disagree? Great song live, by the way. Actually, they both were. Okay, On to the next pairing in our quarterfinals. For this one, we're going to be hitting 1 for Is This the World We Created? Or 2 for A Kind of Magic. Is This the World We Created is number 1. A Kind of Magic hit 2. What are you saying, Nick? Like when people use just a single song? Hang on, I got to read what you said here again. The reason why I don't like Bo Rap. Have you ever spoken to someone about music and mentioned you love Queen, and they say I'm a massive Queen fan. Bohemian Rhapsody is the best. Well, I think Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, that's the song that's probably created more Queen fans than any other song, and maybe that's why it might be their greatest song. You know, whether or not it might be, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody is not my favorite song, but I can certainly appreciate what it did for the music scene and what it did for Queen as a band. So I don't have any, you know, like you, I rarely ever watch the reactions to Bohemian Rhapsody anymore because I can't do it anymore. But it's still a brilliant song though. Oh, are we that close on this one? Oh dear. Yeah, I have the votes at 12-12 right now, or even. Yeah, I know, you know, Chris, I have a real um I go back and forth with that one as to whether or not I believe there are people out there who haven't heard Bo Rap. You know, I think it's possible. I think it's very possible that there are people out there who haven't heard Bo Rap. What I have a hard time believing is that can there be somebody reacting to Queen music that hasn't heard Bo Rap? Because it's been, you know, for the last 4 years, especially when these reaction channels really hit. Um, you know, yeah, everybody's doing it. I can't believe that somebody could start a reaction channel and not have heard Bohemian Rhapsody on somebody else's. So did we ever figure out the winner on that one? Is that why you're asking me, Janet, which of my favorite? Are you talking between these two songs? Which one is my favorite? Am I breaking a tie here? The numbers 1 for Is This the World We Created, or 2 for A Kind of Magic? Are those the numbers you were looking for, Lee? Hello, Indy. When it comes to Bohemian Rhapsody reactions, I know the people who haven't heard the song before. I mean, they're not hard to figure out, especially with the newer reactors, because they want to pause every 30 seconds because they're trying to get around the copyright issues. They always conveniently pause at all the right places, and to me, that's just, you know, everybody pauses right at the end of the guitar solo. They know what's going to happen next, and they're trying to pretend that they don't. And I just wish some people would at least put an effort into pretending that they didn't know and like pause at different places. But they're still reacting to Queen music, and I'm always appreciative of that. I mean, I just want to spread the music. I want this music to still be being listened to in 50 years from now. Did Indy just break the tie for me, I think? It looks like it. Was that your first vote, Lee? Yes. Okay, so I don't have to vote out after all. It looks like Is This the World We Created is the winner. Squeaking past a kind of magic. Sorry, Nick, I missed this comment. I'm going to come back to it. People base Queen on that song, Bohemian Rhapsody, and you're right. And sometimes they don't listen to a lot of the other songs because of that, because they're all quite enamored with Bohemian Rhapsody. And Queen is more than just Bohemian Rhapsody. And a lot of people, it's hard to run away from that when that's your biggest song, and it's been such a big song for such a long length of time. But you're right. I mean, there are people who, I mean, a lot of the reaction channels, especially, they're not going into the deep cuts. I mean, I'm sure there's a master list out there. You start at Bo Rap, and then you do Somebody to Love, and you know what I mean. It's always the same, almost the same sequence as well. That's why I think there's just got to be a corporation right now that's hiring YouTube reactors and just giving them the same list, reactor after reactor. So for that, I get a little bored with it. I want people to start doing like Millionaire's Waltz and My Melancholy Blues, and more of that jazz or something like that. That's not being done. I'm getting a little bit bored with a lot of the Queen reactors, honestly. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that Doug Halvering. I might have. I'm really starting to lose track of all the reaction channels. I'll have to look it up. Sounds like maybe I have seen him. Okay, on to our last pairing for this quarterfinals. For this one, we're going to be hitting 1 for Now I'm Here, or 2 for Teo Toriate. Did I watch Freddie versus BTS? No, I don't believe so. What was that all about? Was that the Deo thing? Like the Wembley Stadium thing? I really liked what are the two guys' names? They just finished the first Queen album. They're quite good. I like their reaction for the first Queen album. I love their faces for Seven Seas of Rye when it wasn't the full song. It was quite. I actually laughed when that happened. Just that the puzzled look. That was great. I'm gonna have to cheat because I can't remember what those guys. Get Sideways. Yes, thank you, Michelle. The Couch Guys. Yeah. Sorry, it was Now I'm Here is 1. Teo Toriate is 2. Yeah. Now I'm Here is 1. Teo Toriate is 2. It's looking like Teo Toriate wins this one. Yeah, I mean, obviously he hasn't listened to the albums for a long time. Probably just saw it on the list and assumed that it was the full version of Seven Seas of Rye. But yeah, the expression, the confusion. And I like when, of course, when they edited in, they zoomed in on him, and yeah, I had some really good laughs. Looking forward to them doing Queen 2. I still can't believe that Jack That Back is gone. That's just, JGK's still around, right? Jonathan's still doing his thing, because I haven't even seen a lot of stuff coming out of his channel, come to think of it. Yeah, they're on to Led Zeppelin right now, Janet. But I suspect that they will be back to Queen again. Are you asking me, Wendy? Is it easy to do the? It is quite easy to burn out, actually. Well, David seemed to be doing a lot better. But I remember talking to Silver when he shut his channel down and closed it down completely. And he expressed the same thing. It can be a lot of work. I mean, it's fun. It's not like it's hard work. It's enjoyable. But I think, for Silver, for instance, he had I think it was just the social interactions that became quite difficult for him. When people are kind of putting themselves out there and doing these kind of things, I guess it's kind of hard to read some of the comments when people are telling you what you're doing wrong. Nick Silver came into the first or the second of these live chats. Silver showed up, and we did talk a little bit. Yeah, I do have him. I've got him on my phone, and we do communicate on occasion. But yeah, Silver is a great guy. I really enjoyed the time I spent with him in California. Yeah, I kind of miss Silver too. Okay, on to the semifinals now. We're down to our final four. So for this one, we're going to be going and hitting number 1 for Bohemian Rhapsody, or number 2 for Let Me Entertain You. So Bohemian Rhapsody was 1, Let Me Entertain You is 2. Yeah, Paula, I think it was through Silver that I know that where I met most of you guys was through Silver. Yes, sorry, Nick. Yeah. Yeah, I think this one is spoken. Bohemian Rhapsody is going through to the finals. Oh, Paula, did you meet Ant through Silver's channel? Actually, you did. I think I knew that, didn't I? My day job, Wendy, was that comment for me? I have two jobs. One, I manage a metal recycling warehouse. So we go out to industrial sites and we pick up the rather large copper wiring and I strip it down to bare copper and resell it again. And the other job I do is working here in the Richmond school system. And with the COVID thing that started last year, I decided to help out, and now I'm doing some cleaning in the school systems. So yes, I have the two jobs. And then of course, I don't consider this a job per se, but nothing too exciting. You're welcome. Thanks for the question. I really am an open book with who I am as a person and how I feel about things. So yeah, if you ever have any questions, whether they're personal or not, don't hesitate to ask. I enjoy answering these kind of questions. Silver left because it was just becoming too hard on his soul. I think it's very difficult. It's even if you're just a small YouTube channel, there's a certain kind of pressure to always have things out there, and he did it quite a bit. I mean, the guy did it nightly for several months, and I think it was a personality clash. I don't quote me on this, but I think it was a little bit of a personality clash that made Silver just have to step back and take some time away. Yeah, unfortunately, Michelle, more and more people are having to do two jobs. I mean, I'm lucky in the sense that I don't need to have these two jobs for the money per se. I make enough money at one of the two. Um, but I was hired on over a decade ago at this metal recycling shop, and the owner took a chance on me because I hadn't worked for about a year or so. I was having some issues, and he took a chance on me. And over the next 10, 11 years, I eventually got promoted and started managing the place. So, I got burnt out. I didn't want to do it anymore. So, I thought I would try something else. And like I say, with the COVID thing, it seemed natural. But I kept both jobs because the place would probably close down without me. And I know there are other people employed there, and the owner's very old. He's not that involved anymore. He comes down there every day and just watches YouTube videos and drinks coffee. So I didn't want his business to fail, so I decided to stay and keep doing that job as well. So I don't go in there every day like I would a typical job. A lot of it I can do sitting here in front of my computer, things like payroll and billing, stuff like that. That's no problem. So, but he took a chance on me, like I say, and he gave me opportunity. So yeah, I don't want to say I feel like I owe him per se, but people who are good to me, you know, I, I try to be good in return. Yes, Silver did like his beer. I like beer too. I just can't drink much of it anymore. I can't stand Summer of '69 either. I don't mind Brian Adams. There's a lot of Brian Adams I like, especially his earlier stuff. But yeah, that Summer of '69 thing makes me want to jump off a bridge. Um, you're talking about yeah. There's a steering wheel here as well, and then yeah, the shifter for driving. I have um I have a virtual reality helmet too. So you get into this virtual reality helmet, and behind that steering wheel, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yes, Liliana, exactly. I don't owe him anything, but I am very grateful for the opportunity, and he promoted me. And, from the day I started working there to the day I finished, my salary tripled. I mean, he treated me well. And no, I don't have iRacing. I do mostly Assetto Corsa. I do have other stuff too. I have like dirt track racing, something like that. I think that's what it's called. But I don't have iRacing, no. Boys and their toys, absolutely. Absolutely. I love gadgets and electronics and toys and anything that can any shiny bubble that can capture my interest. Okay, so what are we down to? Oh no, we have our other semi-final here we have to do. I do like F1. It's probably my preferred race over like stock car or anything. F1's. I would love to. I would love to drive an F1 car. It would be scary as hell, I'm sure, but boy, it would be exhilarating. Okay, so here we go. Let's find out our other finalist here. So for this one, we're going to be pressing 1 for "Is This the World We Created?" Hello, Tyler. Or number 2 for Teo Toriate. So Teo Toriate is number 2. Is This the World That We Created is number 1. Yikes. You're showing off, Chris? Okay. So, oh, sorry, Nick. Is This the World We Created was number 1. Teo Toriate is 2. Here we go. Everybody's going to show off their language skills now. So I've got, I count Teo Toriate as the winner. Anybody else maybe you want to run over those numbers for me and see if we agree? And Ali, what is that? What are those characters? It doesn't look Chinese. Almost looks Arabic. No, it doesn't look Arabic. What is that? It is Japanese? Okay. Oh, is that what that says? Okay, cool. Yeah, I used to be able to sing the Japanese part. I probably still could if I sang along with the music. It is. Ali, did you count? Oh no, it's Teo. That's what the. Okay, I got it. Yeah. How are you guys typing in this? Do you change your keyboard to be able to type that out? Oh, phone translator, of course. Hello, Jean. Is it Jean? Flora? Hello and welcome. Yeah, Teo won, correct? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So it translates as you're typing? I certainly take advantage of Google Translate. Okay, cool. I've got an app on my phone. It's amazing these things that are available today. But yeah, you can just put the app or your phone camera up against the text, and it'll actually change the text right there in the picture. It's really impressive. Okay, so here we are. Let's get our finals down. We've got our final two, Bo Rap and Teo Toriate. So let's get our vote in now. We're almost at a hour and a half. So again, we're hitting number 1 for Bohemian Rhapsody or number 2 for Teo Toriate. Nick. Sorry, buddy. I think Bo Rap's taking this one down. Hello, Capandra. I hadn't noticed you here. Welcome. Have you been here the whole time? So I think we have our winner, yes? No real surprise. I will, yes, Chris, I had already planned to do that. I'm going to take all of the songs that lost out in the finals, and we'll run all those against each other as well, and then add the winner of that back into the championship group at the end. Bohemian Rhapsody is indeed the champion of the Queen Song Challenge number 6. Hard to believe we've already done 6 weeks of these. It doesn't feel like that. Is there any point in that we know what will win? Well, are you talking about this one, or are you talking about the entire? Like, I don't think Bohemian Rhapsody is going to win the entire competition. Thank you, Leslie. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I'm not convinced. I can think of at least 2, maybe 3 songs that if it was head to head with Bo Rap in the final, that I would choose. I would vote against Bohemian Rhapsody. Thanks for joining us, Hot Space. Have yourself a good sleep. Still on Queen 2, Janet. I just got March of the Black Queen up last night. So we'll probably finish off Queen 2 in the next week or so, and then on to Sheer Heart Attack. You hit, you got 2 out of the 3, Janet. The Prophet Song, March of the Black Queen would be the two songs that I would arguably pick above Bohemian Rhapsody. Innuendo would be very, very, very close. Somebody to Love as well. Although I think I'd put Bull Rap a little bit ahead of Somebody to Love. Sorry, Hippie, was that question for me? How many of these are you talking about, the song challenges? Take care, Claudia. Well, let's see. I would think that there's probably going to be about 15 of them total, I would think, by the time we get all the Queen songs in there. I mean, to make numbers work, I might have to either use some songs twice or maybe go outside of the album songs. But yeah, I would think that there's probably going to be about 15 of them total. Well, yeah, there you go. So over 200 tracks, you think 16 songs, that's 160 songs in 10. So another 3 on top. Yeah, I think it would work out to about 15 of these by the end of it. No, I'm glad you guys enjoy. I really enjoy doing this. I've always been a little bit of a trivia nut. My brother and I, we'd go to bed and we'd just lay there in our bed and we'd talk about, what are your 3 favorite Freddie songs? What are your 3 favorite types of ice cream? Whatever. I just always enjoyed making these kind of lists and voting and statistics and that. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying joining me on this, because that's what makes it all worthwhile. I think the longest Queen song is what is it? Not track 13. Is it track 13? That's 22 minutes. Yeah, the Prophet song would be the longest actual song. But was it? Yeah, the ambient music. Was that track 13? Am I confusing this with something else? But yeah, it's 22 minutes of just ambient music, kind of background music. Yeah, it is hard to say. It doesn't really count. I mean, it's Queen, but it's not a Queen song per se. That's why I was saying with the March of the Black Queen video, it really depends on what you consider a Queen song, right? Like, would you consider "Yeah" to be a Queen song? It is very relaxing. I used to listen to what was called new age music, and it was a lot like that, a lot of ambient sounds, a lot of bells and stuff, and it was really quite relaxing. Okay, everybody. Once again, thank you for joining us here, and another great competition, another winner for the week. Now that the holidays are all but over, it should go back to fairly regular Saturday routine. And yeah, I got to eat. I woke up late. I was up very late last night because I was recording videos. I think I got to bed like 5:30 in the morning. So I woke up just before this. This is why I'm looking so rather haggard today, as I woke up 10 minutes before this all started. So again, thank you all for coming here. We'll see you all next week, and yeah, until then, take care, everybody. Yeah, Enjoy life. Take care. Yes, the Queen family is a special family. Ciao.